Okay, so we are on Aittiriya Upanishad, Shanti Part, which is in a section by itself. A lot of masala is in it. And we are at a paragraph which starts with, May I join day and night in study. That's what it starts with. I think in your book it could be 26 or 27, page number.
Page 29.
Okay, page 29. Okay. So
Third
here,
paragraph.
I'm sorry?
Third paragraph on page 29.
Okay, third paragraph, page 29, whoever has the book. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. We'll try to say this peace invocation of Aittiriya. Om Vang me manasi pratishtita mano me vachi pratishtitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama anistha shrutam me ma prahasi anenadhina horatran sandadhami rutam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanma vavatu tadvaktaram avatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So just to remind ourselves what it is, Om, may my speech be rooted in my mind, may my mind be rooted in the speech. Brahman, reveal thyself to me. O mind and speech, enable me to grasp the truth and grasp the truth that the Vedas teach. Let not what I have heard forsake me. And then it says, let me continuously live my days and nights in my studies. So that part Swamiji is explaining now. Who would like to read? Meena ji, would you like to read? And if you get tired, you can give it after a while, Sushil ji.
It's not too much, I think, after
Okay.
that. Let me see. May I join day with night in study. The above mentioned capacity for remembering all the previous discourses is acquired through a self-conscious and deliberate effort on the part of the student. It is not by accidental grace received by some and not gained by others that one is capable of reacting well but not remembering the whole, while another student comes to remember all that he has learned. Memory is facilitated by continuously employing the mind to dwell upon those thoughts for a long period, and this mental and intellectual process of assimilation of what we have heard is called reflection, mananam. To do mananan, we need not renounce the world or run away into a quiet corner. It is most effectively undertaken by maintaining in one corner of the mind these thoughts to smolder. A small quantity of incense burning at one end of a hall can impart its fragrance throughout the hall, and even waft the same sweetness to the atmosphere outside the windows. So too, the Vedantic discourse heard once may be allowed to smolder at one end of the mind, and it will soon spread its fragrance into the wider world of one's own thoughts and ideas within, and speech and actions without.
So, हम लोग का स्कूल में, do you remember we used to have those final exam because all of us are about the similar age. रट्टा लगाना and बोलते थे जो सबसे ज़्यादा रट्टा लगा सकता है उसका मार्क सबसे ज़्यादा होता है, but that was not true because sometimes they would twist the some question, and unless you have the proper understanding you cannot answer. In the end it bombs on you if you only लगाओ रट्टा. Anyway, but what Swamiji is saying, that it is not something accidental that one person remembers and other doesn't, because it requires mananam. That's all it is. And we know if something we churn upon it again and again, वो अपने आप ही याद हो जाता है. That's what. So कोई बहाना नहीं लगाओ उसको भगवान ने बहुत बड़ा क्या बोलते हैं ग्रेस बिकॉज ऑफ उसके पर कृपा की है, मेरे पर नहीं की है. Some exceptions may be there, and we are not getting into that. I'm talking about average people, no? Us. So we are also capable of remembering, but you cannot just expect कि एक बार सुन लिया तो सब याद हो जाएगा. Hey, go and study, go and think about it, and all that. And, even with the college and school, don't they say that you hear one lecture for 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever, then go home and do 20 hours of studies. उसके बिना कुछ नहीं घुसने वाला दिमाग में. If you think that you are so smart, you'll remember. No, you won't. That's what he's trying to tell. Put some effort, you will get the result. And that's why they have the saying, if you, what is it that? ढूंढने पर तो भगवान भी मिल जाते हैं. Same concept, कि कोशिश तो करो. And then English में क्या बोलते हैं वो लोग? You shall seek, what is that sentence? I forgot now. In Christianity also they have the same thing. And you if you seek, you shall find.
Yeah.
Right? Something. You got the gist. That's what he's saying. That, okay, make an effort, your memory will get better. So हम लोग को कोई बहाना नहीं चलेगा. Old age में अभी मेरी memory जा रही है. Maybe I'm not doing enough mananam, So... And then this other part, oh yeah, this is also, you already read that, because in my book there are 2 different paragraphs, that it doesn't mean that, because we all get scared, oh my God, do I have to study Vedanta from morning to evening? No, nothing like that. Whatever the idea is, it should become somewhere priority in your life, That's what he's telling you, that in one corner, if you have that thing smoldering or thinking about it, you will that's also another kind of mananam. And in somewhere here he said कि एक अगरबत्ती जला लो एक corner में, उसकी खुशबू हर जगह फैल जाती है वगैरह वगैरह. So whatever your rest of the day is, you are connected with that thought. And that's why Swamiji used to say that when it comes to spirituality, it's a 24/7 thing. Whatever you are doing, you have to try to remember those concepts and work from that. And it's not like Sunday you go, to some mandir or Chinmaya mission for 3-4 hours, 5 hours, and then rest of the week do whatever you want. Then it's not going to work. You have to combine it. So that's what he's saying. And then there was another example he gave. I think we already finished it in Bhagavad Gita. He said it's like you have a blue light on the street, and when you are walking under, everything becomes blue. It is soaked in that color, Beautiful example it is. So like that, you have one thought, a very predominant thought, all the other thoughts are going to be soaked in it. That's what he's trying to tell. Okay, that's
Churning upon it,
Yeah.
I think is a churn upon it. And you try to find whatever you're doing, that aspect of that comes in. Okay,
yes.
that. So that's what is mananam then all along.
Yeah, exactly. Mananam doesn't have to be, I have to drop everything, sit down. वो भी करना चाहिए for some
Yeah.
time. But rest of the time also Mananam can continue, like you were saying with that. Yes.
This process is to be undertaken studiously and sincerely, at least in the early days of our studies, all through the day and night, and this idea is indicated in this passage. On the whole, it means that since I am striving consciously to get fully integrated by deliberately avoiding all disintegrating tendencies in myself, since I faithfully listen to and carefully react with the words of my master, since I continuously reflect upon these truths day and night, I have every right to demand of the Supreme to reveal thyself to me. For the Vedantic path of self-realization consists of hearing and reflecting upon that which is heard with the full concentration, which can come only out of a personality that is not at all shattered.
So he's bringing, the whole thing, and now he's putting it, everything is together, that, studiously doing this day in and day, whatever we talked about earlier. So, I'm striving, and the main thing was, may my speech be, establish in my mind in the speech to have straight personality, arjavam, like no untruth, no whatever my conviction, that's how I work. ये नहीं कि मन में कुछ और, बुद्धि में कुछ और, एक्शन में कुछ और, स्पीच में कुछ और. It's like a totally disintegrated personality will never be able to. Like he said, the example that good music is never going to come out with some broken strings and things like that. No. So that's what he's talking about, that if I'm doing that much, I will make progress, no doubt. And here he's going one step further. He's literally demanding from the reveal itself to me. मतलब बच्चे लोग होते हैं, मैंने इतनी मेहनत की, now I deserve this. सचमुच किए तो they do deserve it. And the funny thing is that sometimes I was watching this Devon Ke Dev Mahadev long time ago, it's been several years now when I watched it. So it seems that, when those Rakshasas also do some tapas, they are doing with the wrong intention. But because they have worked so hard, Mahadev has to go there and give them the Vardhan. So, Mahadev, they try to make it in the movie form. Mahadev is sitting over there in his meditation, and then this person is doing this tapas, and then he starts waking up, and he tells Parvati, I gotta go. So she said, where are you going? I'm going to this guy to give him the Vardhan. And she said, but he's a dusht guy. Why are you going? He said, no, but he's done very hard work. I gotta give him. See what I'm saying? So if that is a negative example, but basically if you make efforts towards something, you will get some results. End में जो भी वो मांगते थे उनको मिलता नहीं था, because God is very smart. We think that we can outsmart God. Never. He has all the tricks in his pocket. How to get rid of this guy. But from their perspective, if you have done something, you will get the result. That's what they're talking about.
I think truth, I speak truth. We have been, from childhood onwards, hearing that we should be truthful and honest, and that untruth and falsehood will bring upon us sorrows and despairs. Such ethical law can have no hold upon a generation that is extremely scientific, grossly intellectual. We can respect and faithfully follow such instructions only when we are initiated into the logic of such advices. Gone are the Puranic days of Middle Ages or the reverential era of blind obedience, or the age of unquestioning loyalty of the patriarchal society. Today, even a child instinctively questions every ethical rule and moral injunction. Obedience to these laws becomes implicit the moment we are able to make our generation see the rationale behind such moral insistence.
Insistence. So,
Yes.
we all, with our now next generation is coming up, the grandchildren, we all know har ek baat mein why.
Yes.
You cannot do like that. पहले तो अपने बच्चे नहीं करेंगे, और ये तो उनके भी दादा निकले जो नए वाले आए. Our 4-year-old, no daddy ji, that's not true. कुछ भी मतलब, he thinks he knows everything. You need explanation, logical explanation. That's what he's saying. And Vedanta provides that. You have to just have a little patience about, try to understand it, that okay, when we say that we should tell the truth, and then why? Because untruth and falsehood will bring upon sorrow and despair. So we have to give them that. Sometimes they might have to go and do their own experiment to convince themselves. Who knows? But ये वो लोग नहीं है कि जो अभी with the time it's getting even more and more strong, that we have to have a more. And that's why, like that 15-year-old or 10th graders that I teach in Chinmaya Mission, I have to come up with a lot of science. And then it's okay, now I see it. Because if you just tell them like that, they will, and even we, forget about them, even we won't get convinced. So then how can you even expect them? So that's what he's saying, that these verses, if you go deep into it, there's a lot of truth in it and all that, and we need all the different commentaries to make us understand what they mean. why this integrated personality is so important, and we have to work on it, and then we can move forward and all that. So all of that comes under that.
I think truth, rhythm, means my intellect is soaked with the studies of the scripture, which explain to me the absolute truth and the ideal way of true living. Thus, I patiently educate my intellect on the lines of the textbook and come to certain intellectual culture which is dependable and pleasing to myself and to others.
So, this word rhythm, that, the true import of the Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas and all that, very loaded word, because you cannot explain in one sentence or two sentences, because it's so vast. So basically, even like now that we are studying Bhagavad Gita, there are so many different aspects. But somehow, if you keep studying, everything gels together as one truth, but it has many different aspects to it. So here, Swamiji is in his own words explaining intellect soaked with the studies of scripture. So everything, and that absolute truth is there. Nobody can define that truth. They do it, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, and then Sat Chit, Anand, and all those are beautiful, but it still doesn't encompass everything. Those are the main points. So basically, I'm, patiently educating my intellect, and then create this pure intelligence in me, with not contaminated with my own vasanas and things like that. Then again there will be problem, because if the intellect is contaminated and I work from that perspective, again there's a problem. So the true import of it, which is dependable and pleasing to myself and others. ये नहीं कि कोई वो पंडित बन गया और हर बार वो आर्ग्यू ही करता जा रहा है, सब लोग भाग जाएंगे. Some kind of a pleasant personality, Yeah.
Umaji, if you want, I can read it.
Sure, you can read it. That's fine.
So are you going to reveal yourself, or you'll be parde ke piche? Okay.
I have to really set my iPad right. Having thus digested properly and assimilated the truth of life, I allow my intellect to grow in them into a healthy status which has its own ideals and idealisms. Having gained this poise, thereafter, I train my mind to think always in terms of my own intellectual convictions. I speak the truth, meaning thereafter I express but by my word truly what I think.
So this is a very important thing. When it says that Ritam Vadishyami, Satyam Vadishyami and all that. So Ritam is, that when we try to understand everything in our mind, and truth is something that we express through our speech, our action and things like usko truth bola, if you go with it. So what Swamiji is trying to say, this is very interesting aspect actually, that whatever I am totally convinced of, that's what I should be speaking. Sometimes that may not be the complete rhythm, okay? Maybe a guru will have to fix it. But at least that integrate, because Arjuna, remember, when in chapter 1, he was saying to Krishna Bhagavan how he was feeling. The true feeling, he took it out, everything. Then Krishna Bhagavan helped him and said, hey, whatever you're thinking is not true. And then he corrected him and all that. But still that quality of being able to see exactly how you feel and what you believe in, usko truth bola gaya hai yahan pe. This is a slightly technical thing, because we think that, truth means there is only one thing like that and that's it. Koi hawa mein truth nahi hota hai. Truth is here, when they say truth is whatever you are convinced of. That's what you should speak. Because then also the teacher will be able to help you. Of course, the student has a kind of shraddha with the teacher. A teacher has experience. So he goes, and even that's why earlier in the commentary he said that if you are the truthful to yourself, then you will be able to tell the question also correctly. See what I'm saying? It's like suppose you go to a doctor, huh? And then doctor, how you feeling? And you don't tell him everything. How can he treat you then? See what I'm saying now? You have to give him your symptoms. You have to tell what you eat. घर जाके घर 5 लड्डू खा के आए हो, बोला नहीं नहीं मैं तो कुछ नहीं खाता हूँ. He won't be able to treat you properly. So ऐसे बोलते हैं ना lawyer और doctor को छुपाओ मत उनसे, they won't be able to help you. Same way, that's what they're trying. Everybody got the gist. What they're trying to say here is truth is, that much courage we need to have.
These expressions thus indicate a highly dynamic inner life wherein the educated intellect is trained to be always on the alert and be ever vigilant at the top windows of its own towers, constantly policing the mind. The mind is disciplined to give an unquestioning fidelity to the intellect. When the mind thinks in unison with the intellect, these thoughts are faithfully echoed through words, and the intellect is all along on the watch over the words.
So now Swami ji is expanding this a little. ये नहीं कि भाई सब कुछ गलत गलत भरा हुआ है और फिर बताओ आई एम टेलिंग द ट्रूथ. और बोलते हैं ना कि किसी को बोला oh this dress looks so bad on you. So why are you saying that? Because I am telling the truth. No, truth का भी कुछ क्या बोलते हैं rules है. It should be priyam vada, we have done all those. That it has to be pleasing. जबरदस्ती किसी को insult करने के लिए truth बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, things like that. Anyway, so this is he just expanding that what it means about the truth. That he's saying that he's calling it the top window of our tower. That is our intellect. He has his own way of saying that it should be trained to be alert and vigilant. Wrong thoughts and all come, throw them out, or keep your wisdom alive over there. And then from that perspective, it should. So they are not saying ki, oh, you believe like this terrorist. Oh, we tell the truth. We believe that by killing people, we will reach. Obviously, it's all messed up, So first we got to clean our intellect, and from there we have to go. That's what he's saying.
Umaji, doesn't this come from Mananam? Continuous Mananam?
Yes. It's all ties up now, right? With the continuous mananam, we will be purifying our intellect more and more. Absolutely, yes.
When thus this triple string instrument of speech, mind, and intellect is perfectly tuned up to sing in concord, the resonance of the melody that rises from it is the true song of salutation and adoration of the divine, housed in the temple of one's own body.
Totally poetic way he expressed it. 3-string, mind, intellect, body, all tuned properly, housed in the temple of our own body. Then the true song of adoration will come out. It's truth will come out. Beautiful.
Really very poetic, Umaji.
Yes.
Since the seeker is thus constantly making his very life a prayerful song unto the Lord within him, he has every right to demand that the Spirit should protect him and his master. For the purposes of emphasis is the repetition, protect me, protect the teacher. The repetition, protect the teacher, at the end of the passage is to indicate the conclusion of the section. This Upanishad is called Atma Satka. Only when we consider this peace invocation passage as one of its sections.
So Atma Shatak is like Atma is my own, like Atma you can say. And he's just saying that after doing so much work, that's why now he's demanding. मतलब ये नहीं कि oh give me the protection, मैंने कुछ अपना काम धाम किया नहीं. And then the way I gave that example that after my hard-earned money I pay taxes, then I can demand the protection. You know? So then I can say, hey, I pay my house taxes, I need to be safe, this, that, the same thing. May not be the best, but this is what it is, that this prayer is such an amazing prayer. We didn't hear about this kind of prayer because हम लोग का prayer दूसरा type का होता था हमेशा, right? You know, this prayer is so kind of क्या बोलना चाहिए, intellectual prayer almost, you know, to get the maximum out of it, that Brahman, reveal thyself to me, and you know, I should be able to understand what the Vedas are saying, and the Vedas, it should never forsake me. Give me the ability to study day and night, do the mananam, all that. So if you have done all that, then, you know, Bhagwan will protect. And I think that they have this very famous saying in our, you know, dharmo rakshati dharma. You know, if you do good stuff, that will protect you. You know? So that's coming from the similar kind of thing, that if you have done the right thing, then the protection will come to you.
I just had one question about the truth. Yes, I should say what my intellect, but if I see a person, I mean, I may not be able to tell the truth. Do I feel?
So this is what it is. Okay, finish what you want to say, and then I will.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know what is the truth. At the same time, I don't want to hurt the other person. I don't want to say anything. And secondly, the thought comes, if the other, I know, like mom does, they say, okay, killing and all that, and you know, this is good in one sense. According to them, it is good. Okay, they really strongly believe in it. Okay, so they're believing in their thoughts, whereas I know with my religion and my thoughts, it is not. Okay, so when there is a conflict, I mean, I can understand what they believe in. Actually believe in it. It's not that they're just doing it, but believe in it. Just like I want to believe in what I'm reading. They believe in what they've heard. What to do?
Okay, so that's why, you know, when it comes to something like a truth or rhythm or something, you cannot define it in one word, sentence and all that. If you are in a dilemma, should I speak or not? I think what you should be thinking is, by not speaking, what nuksan can happen. You know, there are certain situations, nothing is going to happen. Like I gave you the example of a dress. You may be thinking this is very ugly. I don't say it, perfectly fine. Nothing is going to happen. You know, and here one person is drinking a glass and there is a poison in it. That person doesn't know and you know it. But
that's I'm gonna say no.
Yes. So you got your own answer. Hey, what is going to be the consequences? That's what matters when you're telling the truth. If it's something very frivolous thing, you can be quiet. But if it is not a frivolous thing, speak up. You know, because that is your dharma to speak. And that's what happened in Mahabharata, if you think about it. Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya did not speak when they were supposed to speak. नहीं तो war भी नहीं होता. उसको वही 2 थप्पड़ मार के बिठा देते वहां पे दुर्योधन को. They didn't do it. Okay, so each person has to decide that, you know, that hey, what will be the nuksan if I don't say it? And if it's going to be a big nuksan, you better have the courage to say it. And all that courage and all will come with studying the Shastra, purifying our mind and all that will come. And sometimes there is a time and place for everything too. Like all of us cannot pick up weapons and start fighting. We are not capable. So if you see something wrong, call the police, do this. So many aspects are there. Or in the family, you know, there are certain things you can let go. Like our teacher used to say, you know, Darshana Ben, you would say, हर एक चीज में झंडा लेके खड़े रहने की जरूरत नहीं है. Some things you let go because it's not going to do too much nuksan. But if you're totally convinced of something totally going wrong, pick up that flag, stand up there and fight, you know. So that's it. It's an individual thing, what you're asking. And we have to do the mananam on that part also. But I think to me, उससे नुकसान क्या होएगा वो सोचने की शक्ति हमारे में होनी चाहिए.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So and then you speak up, and even if in that process तुमको कुछ sacrifice भी करना पड़ेगा कभी-कभी. You know, like sometimes you tell a relative something, they may not speak to you for a year, but if that is good for them, so be it. You know, what can you do? They'll come back. When उनको बुद्धि आएगी तो आएंगे वापस. You know, so that's how it is.
Thank you.
After this brilliant prayer, both the teacher and the taught sing together, peace, peace, and peace. The thrice repeated prayer for peace is not merely an ideal extravagance in words, but fulfills a definite purpose. Many obstacles may come to blast our chance of continuously hearing the brilliant discourse of a teacher, roaring in the hours of his inspiration. All possible obstacles have been carefully classified under three main headings by acutely analytical intellect of the rishis with reference to the sources from which these obstacles rise.
So we have heard this Shanti, Shanti, Shanti kitni baar, and jab se, since we have been born, we have heard this in India here also. But we should know that why they say Shanti 3 times. They are saying that they have analyzed it because anytime you're trying to do something, the obstacles can come from 3 different sources. And we have discussed it, but he's going to repeat it in his own words in the next paragraph. What are these obstacles, where they're coming? So we are just praying, वो तीनों चीजें शांत रहे थोड़ी देर के लिए. That's what it is. Yes, जैसे इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना, गणेश पूजा करो कुछ भी करने के पहले, because he removes all the obstacles. Same bhav is there. That while I'm doing this, no obstacle should come.
The three groups into which all the probable obstacles in the study of the scriptures can fall are God sent Adi Devika, such as lightning, thunder, and so on. Phenomenal Adi Bhautika, such as fire, floods, landslides, tigers, hooligans, and so on. Purely subjective Adhyatmika, such as inertia, lack of faith, insincerity, and such other negativities that arise from within us and break us, the healthy unison between the teacher and the taught.
So,
Break up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You will break up the healthy unison between the teacher and the taught. You want me to read the
Next paragraph also you can finish.
This peace chanting is sung both by the teacher and the taught every day at the beginning and close of their lessons. After establishing this desirable unison between them and the text starts.
So this whole Shanti part they say, and the end में जो Shanti Shanti बोलते हैं, we all probably have it memorized by now. Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, or Adhyatmik. Adi Devik is something, जैसे nature did some big thing that कुछ control नहीं है हमारा पर. कोई earthquake आ गया, कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हो गई, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, floods and all that. Humans can't control. कितना भी कोशिश करें, कितना भी science advance हो जाए, nature के सामने हम कुछ भी नहीं है. Right? So that is Adi Devik. And the other ones are, जो आस-पास कुछ होता है, थोड़ा बहुत control उस पे होता है, but still we don't have, और कुछ नहीं, किसी neighbor का कुत्ता ही भौंकना शुरू कर दिया जोर से. Anything, humans, animals, things, surrounding areas are disturbing you. And that's what comes in Adi Bhautik. And everything is quiet. मेरा मन ही अशांत है. That is आध्यात्मिक. और even आध्यात्मिक में कोई, some people even include the body, को बुखार आ गया, कुछ हो गया, बाहर कुछ नहीं हुआ, मेरे ही body और mind में problem हो रही है. मेरा ध्यान नहीं लग रहा है. I'm trying to study and I'm studying and everything is going over my head. Then again it is not going to work. So all three, सभी कुछ शांत रहे. So this is what they, say this prayer. But it has a lot of depth in it, lot of Vedanta in it, lot of beautiful prayers, Shanti Pat. And all different ones have different, and each one has their own, क्या बोलना चाहिए, sweetness to it, and own, lot of masala in it. So all of them put together are like amazing. Any question, comment? Before we start next week, we will start actual Upanishad now. Everybody get ready for it, for the vision in Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad. It's going to all match. Both are starting. No question, no comment? I think we already discussed a lot of things. Okay, I'll close it then. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.